everyone? How y'all doing? It's another episode of Notable Prisons and the inmates that either occupies them or has occupied them. And today, we're going to take a trip, folks, to Marion, Illinois. So what I'm going to need y'all to do is get your lighters ready. Because someone is getting smoked. You dig? But anyways, drop some comments. Give me that proper feedback in the comment section. And, we gonna take it from there. Young fly player. Anyways, so USP Marion. It's a medium security federal prison for male inmates in the unincorporated area of Williamson County of Illinois. It's obviously operated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the feds, and the facility has an adjacent satellite prison camp that houses minimum security male offenders. So you have one side with the crazier people and one other side with the not so crazier people. Maybe like the people like doing fraud or some shit, or maybe taking a few pounds of some drugs across state lines, or some simple, nothing crazy like bank robberies and shooting people and shit like that. You know what I mean? But anyways, so a little bit more about Marion. It was built in around 1963-ish, because the purpose was to replace Alcatraz. And, but when that was built, Alcatraz closed that same year. And then that's where a lot of people went to Marion and then, a few other places that are of that type of stature. And here's another interesting thing about Marion, Illinois. It was the first federal prison where 2 officers were killed. And basically, what happened was their last name was Klutz and Hoffman. They were killed in a separate incident only hours apart. And then both had both of them at the hands of the AB, the Aryan Brotherhood, a white supremacist prison gang. Klutz was stabbed to death by Thomas Silverstein, allegedly, while walking down a hall accompanied by Klutz. Silverstein was able to turn to the side and approach a particular cell. The prisoner in the cell subsequently unlocked Silverstein's handcuffs with a stolen key and provided him with the knife. Later that same morning, Officer Hoffman was stabbed to death by Clayton Fountain after Hoffman had pulled Fountain off another officer who was being attacked. Yeah, pretty crazy allegations. Are they true? I don't know. I wasn't there. That's not my job to decide. But anyways, and as a result of that, they went to like a permanent lockdown for like the next 23 years. And it's a trip because I remember like watching American Me. I remember them mentioning Marion prison, federal prison, at some point during the movie. I just remember that's where that name stands out to me from. But anyways, most of the Marion was effectively transformed into a control unit, or a supermax, meaning super maximum security federal prison. This method of prison construction and operation involves the keeping of inmates in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day and does not allow communal dining, exercising, or religious services. These practices were used to keep prisoners under control and prevent prisoners from assaulting other prisoners or prison staff by severely limiting their contact with other people. So, years later, Norman Carlson, the director of the feds at the time of the Marion incident, said that ordering the permanent lockdown was the only way to deal with a very small subset of inmate population who shows absolutely no concern for human life. He pointed out that 2 inmates who killed the guards were serving multiple life sentences, so adding another would have no effect. The control unit model at Marion was later the basis for ADX Florence, which opened in '94 as a specifically designated supermax prison. One thing that this is just my opinion, I don't feel like people in prison are just going to attack, rather it's a CO or another inmate, for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is, okay, you have person X, right? He's in here for 783 years for killing this many people. He's able to go to the day room, general population, all that. Now, you know that dude has nothing to lose. So it would be in your best bet to treat him with respect. You know, don't feel like you got more power than the inmate, because at the end of the day, everyone's all human, you know? So now I'm not saying that dude killed that cop, and I'm not saying what I'm saying is right or wrong, but I just do know this. Respect goes a long way, you know? And I say that because being that I'm on the outs and I have this prison channel, I know quite a few people that was either that came home from murder charges, or they're just some crazy people. But, you know, what they all tell me is like, man, it just boils down to respect. That's it. Respect goes a long way. But I will say this, RIP to those officers who lost their life. You know? Anyways, let's get into some of these inmates and see what it's looking like. So, being that it's a federal prison, you already know they're going to have some foreign terrorists at this thing. So, let's get it started. Remember, people, these people were either at this place at one point or they're still there. Because I know sometimes people are like, no, he's not there. He's at ADX. Or no, he's at Pelican Bay. Well, he might be there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't exactly sit here and spend hell hours looking up this person's, his tour de France of all the prisons he went to and shit. I just, fuck, you know what I mean? But anyways, folks, Clement Hampton-El. He's an Al-Qaeda operative and followers of the Sheikh Umar Abdul Rahman, convicted in 96 of seditious conspiracy. Sedious conspiracy, and other charges for their involvement in the foiled NYC landmark bomb plot. Yeah, definitely gonna smoke his ass. You can't be coming over here to America and try to blow shit up. They are definitely gonna make an example out of you. But anyways, he's serving a 35-year sentence and is scheduled for release in 2024. He was transferred to FCI Beckley, but he died in 2014 while serving a 35-year sentence. So he died 10 years before he was able to get out. Whoa, damn. Smoked itself. Mohammed Rashid Daoud Al-Owhali. He's another Al-Qaeda operative convicted of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction in relation to his role in the 1998 United States Embassy bombings in Nairobi, Kenya. And he was sentenced to life in prison back in 2001. 2001. He's been in there for 21 years. My math is good. And he is at ADX Florence, chilling 23 hours a day. Man can't even burp in peace. Next up, Iyman Faris. He's an Al-Qaeda operative, and he pled guilty in 2003 to terrorism conspiracy for researching potential targets, including the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City, and obtaining equipment to be used in the attacks at the Al-Qaeda leader at the request of the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Scummy, not here, smoking bin Laden pack Laden. I'm pretty sure y'all might have heard of him. You know, the dude with the crazy ass, dirty nappy beard with like 53 wives and shit. But anyways, he served a 20-year sentence and he was released on August 18th, 2020. Hopefully he got his mind right and he ain't finna go around and try to blow no shit up. I mean, I'd hope. Not. Omar Razak. He's the follower of the militant Palestinian leader Abdul, the sole surviving hijacker of Egypt Flight Air 648. 58 people were killed during the hijacking. Rez was convicted of air piracy in 96. Now get this. 58 people died. And this is what it like right now for him. He's serving a life sentence, and he's eligible for release next year. Now, he may or may not get parole, but you know, it's kind of crazy that well, I'm not a judge, so my opinion doesn't matter on that. But yeah, parole next year. Next, we have Abdul Murad. He was an Al-Qaeda operative convicted in '96 of conspiracy in connection with the planning of Project Bojinka, a foiled plot conceived by senior Al-Qaeda member Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to bomb 12 planes over the Pacific Ocean in a 48 time period. Yeah, about that. Definitely smoked his ass. He is not getting out no time soon. In fact, yeah, he was found guilty and he was sentenced to life in prison at 80 max USP Florence. Not supermax though, which is a crazy thing. But yeah, he definitely is not getting out no time soon. They smoked him. Next up, we got Dritten Duka. He was one of the 6 men that conspired to attack an army base in Fort Dix, New Jersey. His brother, Elvira Duka and Shane Duka, are being held at USP Hazleton and ADX Florence. And this guy is at Terrahati. What movie was that? Okay, here's another trivia question. What movie was that where they went to a place called what's it called? A Quasimatati or some shit? It's an old movie, like I'm talking 80s, 90s old. But yeah, a Quasimatati. I don't know, but I just remember it sounds like Terrahati, but it's like a Quasimatati or some shit like that. If someone gets that, yo, I will be surprised. I'll pin your comment or something. I don't know. Like that'd be impressive if someone gets that. So here are some domestic terrorists that are, at Marion, or that's there or was there. Francis Schaeffer Cox, the leader of the Alaska Peacekeeper militia, convicted in 2012 of murder conspiracy for plotting the murders of judges and law enforcement agents. 2 co-defendants were also sentenced to prison, serving life. Got transferred to Terrahati. A lot of people got transferred to Terrahati. I think that might have been my next one. Michael Finton. He was a follower of the late militant cleric Omar Al-Owhali. He pled guilty in 2011 to attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction for plotting to destroying a federal building in Illinois with a truck bomb in 2009. Yo. Damn. That is freaking crazy. And he is serving his life sentence now at USP Florence High. Not Florence High School. Next we have Carlos Almonte. He pled guilty to conspiracy to murder persons outside the U.S. and for attempting to join Al-Shabaab, a terrorist group based in Somalia. Co-conspirator Mohammed was sentenced to 22 years. Serving a 20-year sentence and scheduled for release in 2027. Man, they chipping these dudes off with these conspiracy charges. Next up, we have Alex Santana. He was convicted in 2013 for the 2009 Sabana Seca massacre. Let me tell y'all a little something about the Sabana Seca massacre. So, in 2009, this was an incident that occurred on October 17th in Puerto Rico related to drug trafficking. 8 people were killed by a gunman in a car who shot randomly in a bar in 15 miles away from San Juan, Puerto Rico. 20 people, some related, 2 different bands between drug dealers were wounded in the shooting. The 2 gunmen, Alex Santana, 42, and David Rivas were convicted by a federal jury March 8th, 2013, and sentenced to life in prison without parole. So these dudes just had a freaking crazy ass idea. Next up, we have Richard Scutari. He's a former member of the white supremacist group, The Order, convicted in 1987 of conspiracy, racketeering, and robbery. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Now he's at FCI Mendota. Mendota. Next up, we have Caesar Alateri Sayak. He pled guilty to mailing explosive devices to the critics of U.S. Donald Trump. These included Democratic Party politicians such as former President Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden and former U.S. Secretary Hillary Clinton. One package was addressed only to CNN and sent to its world headquarters. And he's serving a 20-year sentence scheduled for release November 10th, 2035. And he's at FCI Butner, level 2.